Our beloved Reverend Incheon Kim, President of CheonBo Asia Pacific Branch, my dear leaders and beloved brothers and sisters from Asia Pacific, 안녕하세요. How are you, my dear brothers and sisters? I am so happy to be able to speak to you in this special gathering, the 2020 Asia Pacific Tour, Hyojong CheonBo online event participated in by different mission nations in Asia Pacific region. Even in the midst of this challenging situation that we are facing, we can see the outpouring of amazing grace from our heavenly parents and true parents. 아주 Let us express our deep love and appreciation to our beloved heavenly parents and true parents by offering them a big round of applause. This is truly a great blessing and grace from heaven that we could receive in the midst of the global pandemic caused by COVID-19. I hope that through conducting these online events, our members can continue to complete their ancestral liberation and blessing based on our beloved true parents' direction. As many of you know, the Great CheonBo works, which started in 1995, is based on the incredible amount of tearful prayers and 정성, sincere devotion that our beloved true father and true mother have offered before heaven. Only God knows how much tears our true parents have poured out as they repent in behalf of the world and made solemn covenant with God, pledging the realization of God's will on earth and heaven in a life and death determination. It was because of this sincere condition that now we could receive the grace of liberating ourselves from evil and resentful spirit and allow the liberation and blessing of our ancestors and for them to become absolute good spirits. Now the providence has expanded so much last 2018 by the grace of our true mother, the CheonBo regional branches were established in order to expand the works of this providence worldwide. Through this, we can have more opportunities to conduct the CheonBo events all over the different regions and even in the HTM areas in Asia Pacific nations. Are you happy to be able to participate in this online ceremony today? Yes or no? My dear brothers and sisters, why is participating in the ancestor liberation and blessing ceremony so important? First, we have to understand that we are representatives of our heavenly parents. We are representatives of our true parents. So, we need to participate God's total providence for the sake of the liberation of all mankind, including the spiritual world. That's why, through the grace of the ancestral liberation and blessing, we are saving our ancestors. 아주? Secondly, this is a great opportunity to let all our ancestors participate for God's total providence. Isn't it that when our ancestors are liberated and then blessed, they become blessed absolute good spirits? Then what happened after that? They can come down and live together with us so that they can actively participate in God's total providence. They will be mobilized in order to work and cooperate with us on the earth. We are opening the way in order to let all our ancestors come down to the earth and help in our mission in completing our portion of responsibility. All our ancestors can directly become spiritual emissaries who can go to our mission areas, HTM areas and help us in order to quickly restore our tribe, even our nation and the world. 아주. Thirdly, we really have to understand that through ancestral liberation and blessing, all our ancestors by our true parents' grace can unconditionally enter the kingdom of heaven. We have to understand the value and the authority of the blessing. Anyone, including in spiritual world, once they receive a blessing, they can have the right to enter kingdom of heaven. If we only know the reality of the spiritual world, most of our ancestors, 95% of our ancestors are in the hell of the hell. However, through the grace of the ancestral liberation and ancestral blessing, our ancestors can suddenly jump into the kingdom of heaven. 아주. That means anyone can belong to God's direct blood lineage. That means they can become God's direct children through the blessing. This is the power and the authority of the blessing. Anyone who receives the blessing can freely travel in spiritual world and come down to the physical world, and they can freely help us. Liberation signifies liberation from satanic realm, liberation from hell. How great is this amazing grace? On the satanic realm, our ancestors, even though they wanted to help us, they cannot do anything. That's why it is absolutely necessary to liberate them and bless them through our CheonBo providence. 아주. Fourth, you have to understand that the structure of the kingdom of heaven is based on pair system. Therefore, any fallen men who go to the spiritual world cannot stay together as husband and wife. No matter how united or loving they were in physical world, when they go to the spiritual world, they cannot be together without receiving the blessing. Do you understand? This is really reality. They cannot get along together in spiritual world. That's why through the blessing they can become eternal couples in spiritual world. So in order to qualify to enter the kingdom of heaven, they need to receive the blessing and become eternal husband and wife in spiritual world. We have to understand this very important point, why we have to bless our ancestors. 아주. So, centering on ancestors' point of view, if they attend the ancestral liberation and blessing ceremony, for them, this is truly an eternal festival and celebration in spiritual world. Since the time our ancestors were born and until they die, they could finally meet their own spouse in spiritual world and then be reunited in order to enter the kingdom of heaven together. How much incredible joy is this? They can dance joyfully and celebrate together. They will surely be eternally grateful to you. 아주. Then finally, why do we need to liberate and bless our ancestors? It is in order to ultimately liberate God's sorrowful heart. As long as our ancestors and many people remain in the hell of hell, God's heart remains in hell. So there is no way to completely liberate God's sorrowful heart. Therefore, you have to think that through your participation in the ancestral liberation and ancestral blessing, you are actually helping in liberating our heavenly parents' heart. 아주. Even God is an omnipotent God, almighty God. The truth is that He cannot liberate His own heart. He cannot just liberate the ancestors in hell by Himself. Our heavenly parents can only liberate them through us. Through our victorious true parents, we actually become like mediators and liberators of our ancestors on behalf of our true parents. 아주. This is the reason why our true parents emphasize the fulfillment of our mission as heavenly tribal messiahs, not only horizontally through blessing our 430 couples, but also vertically by blessing for the 30 generation of our ancestors. 아주